of Noah.
Okay, good morning, guys. Here we go. We are starting our morning meeting in a prophetic day, the elections in USA. And I'm trying to answer Mitch about his question that I think that is very important for us. Okay, but I'm going to use my Portuguese because I express better. Eu queria usar então o exemplo de Noé.
So we're going to use the example of Noah.
Aparentemente, a orientação que Deus traz a Noé, num primeiro momento, era uma orientação pessoal.
Apparently, or initially, when the Lord gives a direction to Noah, it was a personal direction.
Era uma orientação pessoal para que ele construísse um barco.
It was something that was individually personal to him to build God a boat.
Noé não tinha ideia do que Deus iria fazer com esse barco.
And Noah had no idea what the purpose of that boat was.
Noé não tinha ideia que 6.000 anos depois nós estaríamos falando dele aqui porque ele resolveu obedecer uma ordem pessoal de construir um barco.
Noah had no idea that 6,000 years later we would be here reflecting on his obedience and his obedience to a personal direction that God gave him.
A mesma coisa a gente vê na vida de Abraão. Quando Deus fala para Abraão, sai da tua casa, do meio da tua parentela, Deus não fala para onde ele deveria ir, só fala para ele sair. Não fala para onde ele deveria ir, ainda não fala o que Deus iria fazer, só pede para que ele saia e obedeça uma ordem pessoal.
And the same with Abraham. God gives him a personal direction, tells him to get up and leave the house of his ancestors. There was no promise attached to it at that point. Just tells him to go, and he goes.
Se a gente for para a nova aliança, nós vemos que quando Paulo tem uma experiência com Cristo, ele também recebe uma orientação pessoal e fala, vai até a casa de Cornélio. Ele não recebe uma instrução de governo, ele não recebe uma instrução para pregar para a multidão. Todo chamado de Deus começa pessoalmente, através de um ato de obediência e que muitas vezes não faz sentido para a nossa mente.
Mm-hmm. And the same thing with Paul. Paul, as soon as he comes, this is the example under the New Covenant. As soon as Paul is called to respond to God and turn his life around, he's given a personal direction to go to the house of Cornelius. And he simply obeyed, not knowing what his obedience to that direction would mean to us today.
O problema é que a Bíblia é um livro que a história a história das pessoas, a gente vê o início e o fim em algumas páginas. Agora a nossa história está sendo construída.
The Bible is a book where we see the complete story of a character's life in 2 pages, beginning to end. But our own lives, it is being unfolded moment by moment. It's being constructed.
Então, qual é o foco da nossa vida quando Deus nos conduz ao momento em que nós todos aqui estamos? Deus está nos revelando mais a vida do seu Filho, nos dando uma clareza a respeito do pacto vigente. Quando a gente chega nesse momento, qual é o nosso principal foco nesse momento?
So what should be the focus of our lives when we find ourselves as we are here today?
Só um momento. Adriano, a Leila, vou apresentar. A Leila, eles não conhecem. A Leila, ela tá aqui, ela vai dar um oi aqui, ó. My
So,
wife.
Chris is going to introduce his wife, Leila, to you all.
She always come here and look at me
Leila,
far from you.
volta aqui,
Come
Leila.
on again.
Volta aqui.
Oi.
How are you today, Leila?
Hello.
How are you today?
Como que eu tô? Tô bem? I'm fine.
So that's Leila, everybody.
Oh, nice to meet you. Pode
You will
fechar.
meet her one of these days.
My best part.
Yes.
Okay.
So where were we? Oh,
Então,
okay. So, Cris, fala outra vez. Você estava falando. Então nós estamos aqui.
Então, assim, nós aqui como grupo estamos sendo conduzidos por Deus e nós estamos num momento interessante onde Deus tem nos revelado mais de Cristo, tem nos dado mais clareza do Evangelho. E nesse momento, qual deve ser o nosso principal foco, então?
So we find ourselves here at this moment where God is allowing us to have some clarity about His Word, about who He is, learning the reality of His plan under the new covenant, and how should we respond to that? What should be our response to this revelation that God has given us?
O nosso principal foco nesse momento, respondendo ao Mitch, é a obediência aos comandos mais simples que nós estamos recebendo do Espírito.
Our response should be, answering to Mitch's question, the most simple obedience to the simple things that God is revealing to us.
O que eu quero dizer com isso? Que uma obediência nossa a um comando de Deus tem uma dimensão governamental que nós não conseguimos imaginar.
What I'm saying is that a simple obedience to a simple command of God today has a consequence in terms of governance of our lives that we cannot imagine.
Vamos voltar ao exemplo de Abraão, Mitch.
Let's go back to the example of Abraham.
Pay attention here, Mitch. I believe that you're going to understand what I'm trying to explain. Abraham, when he received an order from God to kill his son, he was in a process to learn how to hear God and obey. He don't have the idea he going to be a father of nations, but only hear and obey. Okay, I need to kill my son. It's not make sense for me, but I'm going to obey. Okay, and he go and follow and continue hear, and another voice. Okay, don't kill. The second voice. If he listened for the first time and stopped to hear, he's going to kill his son. And what's happened in the plan of the purpose of God if Abraham killed Isaac? Can you understand that for Abraham is a specific act of obey a instruction, but for God, this is a prophetic act that is going to iria reverberar por toda a eternidade, Adriano.
With eternal consequences.
Aquilo ali era se Abraão, olha só, se Abraão, meu Deus, isso é muito forte. What I'm trying to explain is very powerful, because Deus não pode fazer nada sobre a face da terra que não nasça do homem, porque ele entregou o governo da terra ao homem. Olha que sério.
This is very serious. God is not going to do anything on earth that doesn't that is not
Que não venha nascer
born,
homem. É.
born within man, because God has given the government of the earth to men.
Então, como que um dia Jesus iria ressuscitar? Era como se Deus estivesse quebrando a lei da própria natureza que ele criou da morte, se ele desse ao seu filho a oportunidade de ressuscitar e a ressurreição nascesse de Deus. A ressurreição tinha que nascer em um homem.
God would be breaking his own parameters if he would surrender his son to die, and the resurrection of Christ would be a process born within the very Jesus Christ. The resurrection had to be
Introducing the world through a man, the resurrection. Because
Jesus
if the,
needed to be man in
Yeah.
order for resurrection to be resurrection and do what it did, rather than
Porque se a ressurreição viesse direto através de Jesus, ela seria ilegal, ela quebraria um princípio do próprio Deus, que o governo da terra é do homem.
if the resurrection came from a God, Jesus, he would be breaking his own ordinance that the government of the earth was given to men. Does it make sense, guys? If it doesn't make sense, just shake your head, because then we can dig into it a little bit.
Yeah, but pay attention here. O escritor de Hebreus fala o seguinte, que quando Deus pede para Abraão matar o seu filho, Abraão creu que Deus era poderoso para ressuscitá-lo.
In Hebrews, it says clearly that when God commanded Abraham to sacrifice his son, Abraham believed that God was powerful enough to resurrect his son.
Quando Abraão creu que Deus era poderoso para ressuscitar, Abraão deu à luz a ressurreição. Abraão acreditou, sem nunca ter visto, que o Deus que tira a vida é um Deus que pode voltar a dar vida a algo que morreu.
Que você congelou lá?
Pode me ouvir? Tá me ouvindo?
Tô.
Abraão creu que algo que nunca tinha visto poderia acontecer, que o
Congelou
Deus...
de novo. Congelou de novo. Só Abraão creu. Foi tudo que eu escutei.
Abraão creu que Deus era poderoso,
So Abraham
suficiente,
believed that God was powerful enough
para o mesmo Deus que é o autor da vida, para dar de novo a vida para algo que estivesse morto, sem nunca ter visto isso acontecer.
He believed that the same God that was the giver of life was powerful enough to bring life out of death without never having seen or heard of such a thing.
Naquele momento Deus fala, não precisa mais matar teu filho. Você já trouxe à luz o que eu preciso para que um dia Jesus ressuscite.
And he said, stop, I don't need you to follow through with this, because your faith, your believing already brought to light what I need one day in the future so that I can resurrect my own son.
Por isso que Abraão é chamado do pai da fé. Ele trouxe à luz à existência algo que ainda não havia acontecido na terra.
That's why Abraham is called the father of faith, because he brought to light something that had not happened yet on earth, that gave light to what would happen in Christ.
E o que eu estou querendo dizer com isso? Aquilo ali parecia ser só um ato de obediência, uma instrução pessoal, mas a obediência de Abraão alcançou toda a humanidade.
And what I mean to say is that what seemed to be a simple personal act of obedience was in fact an act that would affect humanity forever.
A nossa mente religiosa, Mitz, muitas vezes pensa que eu estou sendo útil para Deus quando eu estou pregando, quando eu estou fazendo as coisas, mas a nossa obediência na esfera que o Senhor nos confiou de vida pode ser mais impactante que muitas evidências externas que a gente acha do que é fazer a obra de Deus.
Our religious mind limits us to think that we are only important to God and what we do is only important when we are in the ministry. And it keeps us from understanding that our obedience today, or simple obedience today, has a consequence not only for the remainder of our lives, but beyond.
Vocês se lembram o que aconteceu na cidade de Sodoma?
Do you remember what happened in Sodom?
Um justo é suficiente
There
para
was
Deus.
one right.
O Deus falou: se eu encontrar um justo, eu não destruo a cidade.
God said, if I find one righteous person, I will not destroy this city.
Você consegue imaginar isso? Vocês estão me vendo ou travou?
Just imagine that. One just
Você consegue
would
imaginar
spare
que
an entire city. One choice.
Mitch, can you imagine that your life could be enough for the eyes of God, for your city is different? For one life, one life that obey God in the level that he, wow, this is my son, is enough to preserve a city. So sometimes we build our thoughts like, I need to do spiritual things to feel that I'm doing something for God. Not, this is a mistake. If we learn how I need to obey in the levels that God trusts in me, that's enough to make change, to touch the government of God on earth. Even though I cannot see the results, the natural results, but it's more important our level of obedience that the visible things that sometimes we call the spiritual things, you know? For example, in these last years, the things that I passed in my life, in the company, the reputation, the things like that is like, oh man, where is God in this moment? And God is looking for me, and I'm waiting.
I'm gonna suggest that he restarts there.
No,
What?
he's really frozen.
Yeah. Ei,
Stop.
Kiko,
Oi.
Kiko, você não quer reiniciar aí, cara?
Cara, a internet. Hoje eu já fiz 2 reuniões antes dessa, né? Tive aula de inglês com o Bruno e fiz uma reunião de trabalho. Cara, a internet está instável hoje. Não vai adiantar. Ela tá caindo toda hora, assim. Ela não é reiniciar.
He said that he had 2 meetings earlier, and it's unstable. It's not going to resolve to restart. So we're just going to have to push through here.
Really?
Mas eu não sei se o que eu falei deu para entender, Adriano. Eu acho que agora seria legal ouvir o Mitch, porque eu entrei por um lado.
How do you apply this to how do you feel like this answer to your question?
Well, it resonates with recognizing lately more and more along the way. No, I've heard God speak to me. No, just this right now. Like, no, just this thing right now. Just this one thing. I don't know about tomorrow, or I'm talking about like right now.
Yeah.
And so I recognize that's encouraging because
Faz sentido, é encorajador para mim saber que a minha resposta a Deus hoje.
It's encouraging, and it does help. It's clarity, because it's encouraging because it doesn't have to be this big mysterious thing or this complicated or figure out. It's really a matter of being in the moment, right? And remembering, like, moment to moment to recognize God, and then and being obedient in the small things. And then it's also just clarifying too, because the reality is, I mean, if you can't obey me in this, and I've been hearing that lately too, in different ways from different things on conversations on the radio and in different conversations that, you know, I mean, why would God give us something else if we can't obey in a small thing, like a father, right?
Adriano, eu acho que o que o Mitch está falando vai de encontro também com o que o Kit está perguntando aqui do lado. Ele falou que ele não entendeu como uma simples resposta à obediência pode ecoar eternamente. Eu vou tentar dar um exemplo prático disso.
Ele está falando, né, Kiko, ele está falando que nós não compreendemos. A razão pela qual a gente vive nessa luta é porque nós não compreendemos.
Então, e o Kit está falando que nós não compreendemos.
Não que ele não entende, mas ele está falando em geral,
sim,
nós não entendemos.
Mas quer ver um exemplo simples disso? A gente não tem... A gente não tem a dimensão, por exemplo, a Leila, minha esposa, ela se formou em fisioterapia e quando ela estava recém-formada, ela ouviu Deus falar ao coração dela para ela abrir mão da carreira profissional para cuidar dos nossos filhos.
My wife is a physical therapist, and when she graduated, the Lord clearly spoke to her that she needed to give up her career to focus on raising our children.
Simples ato de obediência.
It was a simple act of obedience.
Como isso pode ecoar eternamente?
How can this echo eternally?
Tem coisas que a gente só vai saber na eternidade, porque a gente não tem como acompanhar o resultado desse ato de obediência.
There are things that we won't understand into eternity because we can't track with the consequences of our act of obedience.
Mas eu tenho visto um enorme número de casais amigos meus que estão desesperados, cristãos, porque os seus filhos ou estão na droga, ou estão no homossexualismo, ou estão enfiados numa vida no mundo e não querem saber de Deus. Na mesma idade dos meus filhos.
But today I have a large number of friends whose children, the same age of mine, are not walking with the Lord, don't want to have anything to do with Jesus. They are doing drugs. They are into homosexuality. They're lost.
Eu não sei o peso eterno que essa decisão da Leila pode trazer de consequência na vida dos meus filhos. Mas eu sei que os dois hoje amam ao Senhor, estão firmes na igreja, e eu sei que Deus tem um propósito na vida deles. Que pode ser que a atitude da Leila tenha sido fundamental para aquilo que Deus vai fazer, ter preservado eles nessa fase para aquilo que Deus quer fazer daqui a alguns anos.
Well, we didn't know, but it is clear to us today that Leila's decision to obey had a lot to do with the fact that today my kids love the Lord, they are following the Lord, and it has certainly great effect and influence in where the Lord is leading them to be in the future.
Então tem atos de obediência que são simples e que pode ser que a vida do meu filho seja muito mais expressiva no evangelho do que a minha própria vida, mas a minha obediência como pai vai contribuir num propósito de Deus que é geracional.
It could be that my son's life is more meaningful in the ministry than mine? We don't know. But what I do know is that my act of obedience has a eternal consequence in whatever future God has determined for him.
Outro exemplo, Deus confirmou no meu coração o fato de dedicar uma manhã por semana para estar aqui com vocês. Hoje nós estamos aqui conversando, mas eu não sei o peso eterno que cada uma dessas palavras tem produzidas dentro de você. Eu só estou obedecendo um comando de Deus, mas eu sei que Deus está fazendo algo no nosso meio.
I can use our time together as an example as well. I understood that God wanted me to dedicate time to be with this group weekly. And we don't know the effect and the consequence of this time. But I do believe that the Lord has been transforming lives and is directing lives, and where he's going to take this from here, we don't know.
Então, às vezes você está no teu ambiente de trabalho, às vezes você está com pessoas que são da sua família e Deus te dá um comando simples. Ó, dê atenção a essa pessoa. Comece a falar.
You are in your job or in your family gathering, and God directs you to pay attention to a certain person.
E às vezes a atenção e a obediência a um comando de Deus produz resultados nas esferas de governo que a gente não tem noção.
And sometimes our simple obedience has an impact that we have no idea at the moment.
Only some examples to help us to understand.
Silas, you were locked and loaded. Go. Oh. Keith,
Just surprised.
Go, Keith.
Me? Okay.
Yeah, I was just able to go through some curriculum that was developed in France, speaking of countries that are dead. And it gave me some practical things to interject into my life that I feel like I'm being called to give you this, Mitch. One of the practical steps is your spiritual plumbing. Think of a garden hose. You have an end that water comes in, goes through, and then comes out.
All right, let's hold that thought. So I just finished going through a study.
In English, in Portuguese.
Ah, tá. Eu acabei de terminar um estudo onde eu pude tirar alguns pontos muito valiosos para a minha vida, eu gostaria de compartilhar. Uma das coisas que eu aprendi foi esse conceito assim do encanamento. Tem aqui a entrada onde a água entra e aqui a saída onde a água sai. E tem o meio onde a água passa.
So that input, right? There could be errors and anywhere in the hose. So we can walk through those and some scripture that kind of backs these up. But really, it kind of boils down to that: the three sections. Are you being fed by the living water, by God? Are you going through it? Are you literally taking the time to ingest it, to accept it, and then die, right? Die to yourself, because it's not your living water. It's God's living water in you. And then what are you doing with it? Are you kinked up at the end? You're not letting it out and letting it flow.
E a ideia, então, é de que essa água de vida, que é Cristo, que está sendo derramada sobre nós, em nós, que penetra o nosso ser, ela gera esse fluxo, como esse rio de água viva, que tem que sair. Então, se em algum momento, nesse processo, nossas atitudes interrompem, não há vida, porque não há fluxo. Porque o fluxo se interrompe.
And I can share this document with you, but it's just
Yeah, I would appreciate that. Yeah.
yeah, and it's super powerful and simple, right? Like, but that's it. That's the living water of that Jesus gives us. And anywhere in that flow, if it's kinked, if it's stopped, then it's not what's supposed to happen in us.
É um conceito simples, mas que ilustra exatamente esse movimento de Deus que não pode ser interrompido por nossas próprias atitudes, que tem que continuar para que dê vida.
Silas, it's funny that you would share that with me. That speaks to me on a real key level. I worked for a lot of years as a mechanic, and I enjoyed it. It's not something that I would want to do every day for a living still, but I enjoy part of it, and it works. I was pretty good because of the way my mind works. And one of the things that I'm thinking of now is when we would troubleshoot electrical problems. It was always the most, and one of my bosses I really enjoyed. It was just fun to see the way he thought and how he worked. But he said, it's interesting because you apply what you learn how to fix something or how to find out what the problem is. And that it's interesting when you learn things in that and you see how that translates to life, just like sports or art does. When you have something that's broken or something that's, and you get crazy and you start talking about, even with our bodies, right? When our bodies are broken, well, or they're wounded or they're sick. So with an electrical problem, it was always the simplest fix for an electrical problem is usually it's the smallest, most obvious thing, is that there's no power or the button is off or something like that.
Yeah, or architecture, right, Cristiano? I love it.
I engineer.
Yep. And
Foundation, right? You have to have a foundation, and if you don't have a foundation, you can't do the next level, right? And so that analogy about the hose is just, and I love it also because, like you said, it's very simple, and then it also is because that's the way that. So we are, in a way, we're kind of like an engine. Our bodies are life. We're a thing, obviously designed and created, and they were meant to work a certain way. And the funny thing is we think that, we've been given this, and then we kind of hijack it. We're like, oh, hey, I can do this, and I can do this, and it's so fun. And yeah, it is. And it is exciting, and it's fun, and it's wonderful, but we don't operate the way that we're supposed to. And so an engine needs very basic things, and we need in that input, specifically that one, has to be that, right? And then it has to be, we have to use it, it has to go through us. And then if we don't do what we're supposed to with it, then if any of those parts are wrong, then we're unhealthy, right? Or we're not running correctly. So yeah, that helps. I love that.
Yeah. Jesus spoke in parables for a reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a visual person, and so that I see those parts and those things, and that helps.
So we have 15 minutes here. Keith, jump on it.
All right. I just want to say thanks for sharing Layla's story, because I know that's going to be an encouragement to my wife, and so just like she didn't know the impact she would have on her kids when she stopped being a physical therapist.
Yeah.
She's now having an impact and going to have an impact on my wife, because homeschooling is a big challenge for her.
Exactly.
And she's been very faithful to do what God called her to do, but she doesn't really enjoy it. But she feels so strongly that that's what God's called her to do. Sorry.
That I'm hear you, and I'm thinking, what do you think that we prepare a day that we can make our meeting with our wives together. Going to be interesting. I put Leila to share her experience, and I believe that going to be a good experience.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love that. So
Yeah.
I have 6 kids, so we have to find a
Whoa.
time when
It's
the
a
kids
soccer
are not
team.
interrupting.
You have a soccer team.
Well, football
we'll
team.
put you in charge of the kids, and we'll give the seat to your wife.
That sounds good. I'll do that. So your wife's an inspiration, and will be an inspiration to my wife.
Amen.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
one last thing is, I've been thinking this and working on it for many years, but pray, trust, and obey is, to me, sums up a lot of what we need to do and are called to do. Is that pray, listen, trust what he says, and do it.
Yeah. Simple things and yield results.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Chris, I have a question here that Luciano posted yesterday after he watched our talk. And it was when you were talking about giving the change from being a lecture-based relationship with our children to a love-based relationship with our children. And the question was, let me see. What does that look like in practice?
Let's try to explain this. Sometimes we think that we are a coaching and not a father, you know. And all the time that we spend with our, I'm going to speak in Portuguese because if for Luciano is better, I'm explaining in Portuguese and you translate in English, okay? Algumas vezes a gente pensa que a gente é mais técnico do que pai.
Sometimes we act as coaches rather than fathers.
Então a gente passa todo o nosso tempo com os nossos filhos dando instruções.
So we spend our time with our children just directing them.
Nós nos tornamos aqueles que corrigem, aqueles que instruem, aqueles que querem ensinar a Bíblia, mas nós não exercemos um papel de pai, de transmitir amor através de simples atitudes.
We don't miss an opportunity to teach, lecture, direct, discipline, but we don't take the time to act in a loving manner.
Existe uma palavra da nossa geração que ela foi criada pelos psicólogos, penetrou a igreja e eu acho péssima. É o tempo de qualidade.
There is this theory that is
Expression.
this expression that comes from psychology and penetrated the church, and I think it's terrible. It's called quality time.
Quality time é um tempo de qualidade, é uma expressão que surgiu dos pais divorciados que só tinham um final de semana para os seus filhos. Então, o que eles faziam? O final de semana não era um final de semana de ser pai, era de ter um tempo de qualidade. Eles iam para o shopping, eles iam brincar, compravam brinquedos. E isso não é ser pai. Mas a expressão que os psicólogos davam para os pais divorciados é: quando você for visitar o seu filho, você tem que ter um tempo de qualidade.
And quality time was born from the difficult situation of spending time with children when parents were divorced. So one side of the parent unit had the weekend with the child. So the psychologist said, hey, when you do have your time, make it quality time. So the parent would pick up the kid and take it to the mall and go shopping and go play and do this and that. That is not parenting. That's not parenting.
Acontece que essa expressão caiu para dentro das famílias normais. Então, tem pais que trabalham o dia todo, pensam o dia todo em como ganhar dinheiro, e daí eles falam assim, eu vou separar um tempo de qualidade para o meu filho. E acha que sair para passear no final de semana, ele está tendo um tempo de qualidade para compensar o que ele não teve a semana inteira.
And we allow this concept to kind of come into the parental unit that is not divorced. So the parents are working hard, driven in their careers, and then but they make sure that they have that one moment that is the time, quality time that they spent with the children.
Quando, na verdade, a gente precisa participar da vida dos nossos filhos no dia a dia.
When, in fact, we need to participate in our kids' lives daily.
Então, o que eu percebi, e eu falei muito sobre isso com a Leila essa semana, é que a pandemia foi muito importante para mim, para eu estar todos os dias em casa acompanhando a vida dos meus filhos.
And I told Leila this week, we were talking about how important it was the pandemic so that we could pay attention to the lives of our children.
Porque quando você participa de uma construção diária, você tem crédito para exercer correção.
Because when you participate daily, you have the credibility to correct.
Agora, se não participa da vida do teu filho e você só aparece uma vez na semana para corrigir, isso não é recebido como um ato de amor.
But if you don't participate in the lives of your children, and all of a sudden you show up to bring correction, that's not an act of love.
É como se... Oi.
But what about the permissive parenting? The one that bails out the children all the time, that don't allow them to adult. That is the other side of the coin.
Yeah, but exactly what I'm talking about. If you participate of the daily life of your children, you can correct, and they're going to receive like a act of love because you have credit to do this. But when you don't participate in the life of your children and you always appear to correct, it's like, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know about my life. Mm-hmm. The reaction is, you don't know what's happened with me. You don't know what's happening inside me. You always appear to correct me. This is the reaction of the teenagers. You know, I realized this. And you know that I got the heart of my son in the soccer game. Mm-hmm. I just share about this with you. I had to be in the church to preach, and I canceled my compromise, and I went to a soccer game with my son. And in that period, he looked me and I understood that I'm more important for you than all your compromise or your how can I say appliance? Como que é, Adriano, seus compromissos?
Commitment.
Hã?
Commitment.
Commitment. I'm more important for you than your
commitment.
Commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And I understood that the life with a father and son and father and children, you need to build day by day, and if you do in this way, you have credits to correct, and you don't become a permissive father, no, but you participate this is more important than instructions.
Uhum. In counseling, em aconselhamento, quando você trabalha com pais com filhos adultos. In counseling, when you're talking to parents of adult children.
Esse é o mais difícil porque você tem que remir o tempo do que o cara não fez no passado.
This is harder because now you're trying to redeem the time that you lost in the past.
E a maioria das vezes tem que iniciar por um pedido de perdão do pai. Olha, reconheço que eu errei com você, me perdoa.
The starting point is forgiveness, is humbling yourself and recognizing that you failed as a father.
It's like, é como se um pai tivesse a humildade de falar, filho, me dá a permissão de tentar outra vez.
It is like the father humbles himself and asks for permission to start over.
Yeah.
Well said. Very well said.
Hey, can I break in for just a second? It's funny, I don't have any kids. And frankly, when you, like what you just said, that to me, that's terrifying. And that's probably why I don't have kids. But I'm just scared because I don't fail in that. But I can see how Audrey, you made an interesting point, and I'm sure, and this probably translates to other areas too, other relationships for sure.
Yeah.
But it's interesting you talk about that quality versus quantity, and
Yeah.
we love to throw that around like, oh, it's quality time. It was
Yeah.
quality time.
Yeah.
That's like when people are apart, and that's a big problem that we have, that the whole world has right now, is that we're apart. And that separateness, that being separated, no quality makes up for actually being together, right? Actually spending time together.
Mhm.
But Adriana, you pointed out, you said, well, what about the helicopter parent, right? That is like always rescuing or always saving or whatever. But I could see where what Chris is talking about, that for that exactly to do what you're talking about, which is to not rescue them, right? But to know that you actually have to be there, and not rescue them, right? But
Nós temos essa expressão, o pai helicóptero, né, que está sempre salvando, né? E o resultado a gente já sabe qual que é. Mas a presença é importante até mesmo para não ser um pai helicóptero, para você ver que você não precisa salvar.
Yeah.
I can see how that would be extremely powerful.
Amy,
I hear that, I'm recognizing like how I could use that. That's a powerful way to influence in other relationships too, right? Is to be there. I'm still here. I love you. We have a relationship and I'm not leaving, but I'm not going to rescue you and I'm not going to agree with you.
Uhum.
I want to share two things that I hear from my son this weekend.
Duas coisas que eu escuto do meu filho com frequência, eu quero compartilhar.
No, I hear from my son this weekend.
Coisas que eu escutei do meu filho essa semana.
Eu estava conversando com ele porque eu tenho procurado entender o caminho que deu certo com ele para ajudar outros pais.
We've been talking because I want to understand the things that went well so that I can help other parents.
Então eu perguntei para ele, o que você acha que foi mais importante na nossa relação para hoje você estar vivendo a vida que você está vivendo?
So I asked him, what do you think was the most important in our relationship?
Para você hoje ter a vida que você tem com Deus, você ter o tipo de relação que você tem comigo.
To produce the type of relationship you have with God and me.
E ele me falou uma coisa que mexeu muito comigo. Ele é muito inteligente.
He said something that really touched me deeply.
Ele falou assim, pai, todo adolescente hoje tem acesso a tudo.
He said, Dad, teenagers today have access to everything.
A drogas, a mulheres, a tudo que o mundo pode oferecer e que todo adolescente tem curiosidade.
Girls, drugs, anything the world offers. If you're curious, you can find it.
E ele me falou o seguinte, a diferença que eu vi nos meus amigos quando chegaram nessa fase é que eles não tinham um freio, eles não tinham limites, porque eles faziam tudo isso e chegavam em casa, eles não tinham um lar onde houvesse coerência, diálogo com os pais, eles não tinham uma referência, um balizador. Então eles foram e não voltaram mais.
And the fact that my friends go home and they don't have parameters, they don't have dialogue, they don't have an example to follow, they don't have the relationship that provide all this. So they throw themselves towards the things and they just keep on going.
E ele me falou assim, eu sentia o tempo todo que eu tinha como se fosse uma corrente que me ligava a você.
But I feel like when I was in that situation, I had I was tugged to you. We were connected.
Então, no mesmo momento que eu tinha curiosidade, eu falava assim, eu não posso decepcionar meu pai, então eu recuava.
At the same time that I was curious about things that were not good, I had this consciousness that kept me from moving forward towards the things, and I would make a decision to step back.
Porque eu conseguia olhar para a tua vida e falar, é isso que eu quero como família, e se eu seguir esse caminho, eu vou viver uma outra realidade que eu não quero.
Because this is what I want for me as a family, and it looks like if I follow this direction, I'm not going to be able to have that.
Então, existe uma palavra na relação pai e filho que é muito forte, que se chama coerência.
So there is, again, that word in the relationship between parent and children, coherence.
Ela é mais importante porque ela faz com que um filho, por mais que ele esteja observando coisas com curiosidade, ele olhe para dentro de casa e veja a coerência num pai, e isso vai trazer a ele a estabilidade para tomar a decisão certa.
Coherence will cause the child to reflect back at the home situation, and that will influence the decision that he is just about to make.
Eu acho que era isso. Okay, guys. That's okay for today.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to stop the recording here, and next week we're going to be together again.
Well, thank you, Chris, for meeting with us again. Thank you guys for getting up early and jumping on this recording with us. Thank you for sharing your questions and your experience as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, guys. That's a pleasure to be with you.
Okay, you guys have a good day. Kip,
Thank-
Silas, Mitch.
Thanks, Silas, I see that you sent that document. Thank you, bro. All right, you guys have a great day.
Okay, love you guys. Take care.
Love you.